Welcome, everybody, to the Tuesday show of the Flopbuster Movie Show Live. You're probably wondering, where's the guest? What's going on? Today's episode is going to be Ask Me Anything or Ask Us Anything as soon as Gabe gets in here. And we're just going to talk about some October favorites as well, traditions that we do, movies that we watch, TV specials, things of that sort. And here we go. Here's Gabe.
Whoo!
All right on time.
Jesus Christ, I didn't think I was gonna make it, bro. For real. Like, I'm still setting up a little things right here, though. But yeah, I was able to finally get on.
Finally.
Oh man, it was a long ass day.
I know, Gabe. You've been out and about, man.
Yeah, working in Wisconsin, and then just barely made it home. Had to eat some dinner because I didn't stop for lunch today. So,
What did you eat?
um, there's this place in Wisconsin called Quick Trip, and it's a gas station, but they have chicken. And I swear to God, this chicken is phenomenal, bro. Gas station chicken, it is phenomenal.
I'll take your word for it. I don't know when the next time I'll be in Wisconsin is, but I'll take your word for it. We got in the chat, we got Leo. What's up, Leo?
Yo,
Cody,
what's up?
how's it going, man? And today's episode is brought to you by Sam Adams Oktoberfest. That's all I had that was October wise. Yes, they sponsor the show now. Leo's with you. He's supporting the chicken, man. He's supporting the chicken.
I told you, it's good chicken.
I gotta try it. I like, I've had some good gas station food. There's a place called, I think it's called Wally's. It's supposed to be inspired by the vacation movies. It's like a Wally's World RV stop. I forgot what it's called. It's in like Missouri, and it's huge. It's like one of the biggest gas stations in the world. And they're doing fresh pulled pork, fresh pork shoulder, brisket, things like that right in front of you. Really good. Really, really good.
So I work in Florida, right? So I do a lot of, construction work. So I always stop at gas stations. That's quick breakfast, quick lunch, whatever, right? So like as far as like best gas station pizza, it goes to Casey's. So you live near Casey's. Casey's has like the best pizza.
In the Midwest, I would say, yes.
In the Midwest, yes. All right, in the Midwest, I guess, right? So the Midwest, Casey's has like the best, pizza, and then we're going to Quick Trip for chicken. Like I said, I'm all over the place with gas station food.
Don't knock gas station pizza, guys. When you're in a rush or if you're working outside, it's like the best. Sometimes you find the right place, they make it fresh, they have the actual pizza ovens there. It doesn't taste like frozen, nasty ass pizza like a 7-Eleven. Sometimes you get some really good ones.
Yes.
Gabe, I'm excited. We're going to talk about some October favorites today.
Man,
traditions and movies.
Oh,
what do you got there, man?
I got a whole freaking stack of like my October's like must watches, like
perfect.
Whole thing. Like that's like me that I need to watch every single October.
Along the way, we'll take some questions from the chat as well. And Leo he's still on about the meat sweats. They also sell meat sweats pizza. It's frozen and delicious.
I actually had a slice because it's a 2-hour drive and I was hungry, so I had a slice of pizza and it was the meat sweat slice, and it was really good.
Was it good?
It was good. Yes. I don't know about Casey's good level of pizza, but it was definitely high tier gas station pizza.
Casey's got everything, man. They really do. They got the pizza puffs and the Tostito rolls and the burgers and hot dogs. They got everything.
We're getting questions already. I like this Ask Me Anything here.
Okay, let's start taking some questions, and then we'll jump into the movies because I as well have a whole stack here. We'll talk about like our traditions, what we love doing. And Gabe and I last year spent a good amount of October together. We did some really cool things. So that was a October to remember. I had some great times. Flat, what's up, man? What would be some of your favorite celebrities to interview? I think somebody that would realistically see coming on the channel, like a filmmaker or something. Like I don't know. That's a tough question. I know in terms of other YouTubers who I'd love to come on. That's more tangible. I've talked about before, like the guys from Double Toasted. I'd love to interview them. Sean Chandler. I'd love to get that guy on here. Film Speak. John Campia, guys that are in the industry, in this film space that we're trying to get into, talking movies and whatnot. What about you, Gabe? Any like actual celebrity that's, a long shot or one that's you think is within touch?
A long shot, I think, but I think John Leguizamo, for some reason, like I love that guy. And like I've sent him direct messages, be like, yo, what's up? Like, what's up, mijo? Let me interview you. Whatever he has whenever he's promoting a movie. So I still have to hit him up for the menu. I gotta hit him up, be like, yo, do you want to come
Dude,
on?
he's got two movies coming out, man. He's got The Menu and Violent Night, and I heard Violent Night is great. I've
He
heard
loves
great
Violent
things.
Night.
Yeah.
Like he went on his social media and just started talking about great stuff about Violent Night. And
Yeah.
so, and anytime I can see John Leguizamo in like as a bad guy, I love it.
Um, Here's the next question. Comes from Cody. I like this question, and I feel like I know your answer, but maybe you'll surprise me. If you had to shadow some film directors on set, who would you choose?
Uh just because I saw his movie recently, but I would say David Russell.
David O. Russell?
David O. Russell.
He would punch you in the face or scream at you, man.
That's
He's a crazy director.
he is
He's crazy.
crazy, but the way that he gets all these like egos and these superstars to like work together and create some sort of magic on set, he has to have like a je ne sais quoi, if you will, quality about him to get all that superpower. So I would love to see how he maneuvers through all that, through all those egos.
George Clooney punched him in the face on the set of Three Kings. I think he choked him too, but he beat the shit out of him. That's for sure. I think for me it would be the Safdie brothers. I think I've liked everything that they've done so far. Daddy Longlegs and Good Time and Uncut Gems is probably my favorite. But the energy that they have on set and the techniques that they use is very much something that a lot of filmmakers don't do anymore. And it's that ground level, sort of John Cassavetes level of let's try anything, let's push the camera off the tripod, let's get really intense with it. Even the sound design, the things that they do, it's really cool.
Right.
The behind the scenes stuff I read about them excites me. And they got a new movie coming out too, so I'm excited. Uh, Leo's excited for Violent Night. I think that movie, it looks awesome. I can't wait, man.
It looks like an instant Christmas classic.
I really can't wait for it. And he needs a movie like that, David Harbour, right? Me and you have talked about it before. He's tried to do the franchise thing, but Hellboy didn't work. That movie just was a mess. Not his fault, but it came and went, and people
Black
wanted
Widow.
the Del Toro one. And he did Black Widow, which he's going to have Thunderbolts, which I think he's going to be great in. I'm excited. I thought he was the best part of Black Widow. What's up, fuckers? What's up? What's up, Connor?
What's up?
Excited to have you in, man. And Leo says, what's the best all ages Halloween movie? What's your pick, man?
I got two with me. So good question, Leo. And it's gonna be Hocus Pocus right here.
Oh, there you go.
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
That's an underrated one, and I haven't gotten Vic to watch it yet. And I think I'm gonna change that this year because I had a blast when I saw it.
By the way, if anybody wants to send me a 4K copy of Hocus Pocus, I will gladly accept it because I still got the DVD.
Is it on 4K?
It is.
This one when the anniversary happened, and it's a really good release. There was like 4 different covers that, God damn it, there was like 4 different covers that were released. There was the book, there was some Walmart exclusive, a Best Buy exclusive,
the Target exclusive.
This is the Target exclusive right here. Yeah. And this is when I was like picking up everything, and I had everything on pre-order, and I got that one. And I love the movie. I know, it's not for everybody. I feel like you have to have grown up with it to really enjoy it. But this is a good release, and this cover, this is my favorite cover. I don't think I'll upgrade. I think there's a 4K. I'm not sure, but Disney doesn't do the best job with their releases. But I would say Ghostbusters, but there's a lot of jokes in there. I guess these two movies, there's a lot of jokes that don't fly. But to exclude Ghostbusters for a minute, because that probably would be my pick, I'll go with the more obvious one, I guess, for a spooky season, and that's Beetlejuice. Ooh. Beetlejuice, and I think this is a must-own for anybody that collects Blu-ray, 4K, DVD. This release of Beetlejuice is the best release they ever did, and it keeps the film grain intact. Everything looks great, like the upscale of it. This is true 4K, and it's one of the best 4Ks I own. The picture quality is insane without making it look digitalized, if that makes sense, because they do a lot of that with old movies, and I fucking hate that. But this release is it, man. This is it. And real quick, Leo said for him, It is Addams Family, and I have that in the stack because the Addams Family and Addams Family Values, I can't pick which one's better. They're both equally
Adam's
awesome for
Family
me.
Values.
And I want to say Addams Family Values because it's one of the best sequels ever made. And the
Joan
Thanksgiving
Cusack.
scene, and Joan Cusack is a
Joan,
performance.
I've never and I've never sexualized Joan Cusack,
She's
but
hot in that movie,
but
man.
that movie, I definitely, she's hot.
And she's crazy, but the jokes are so good. The jokes in that are
They
so
are.
good. Everything with the kid, and there's this great line where Pugsley they go to the camp, and the girl from the first one, the Girl Scout, her parents are showing her off, and they're like, "What has your boy done? What has your boy done lately?" He's like, "Probation," and he Gomez is like so proud, and they're like lighting the cigars. One of the best jokes. It seriously is. Um, what's a movie that you know sucks but you love it anyway? Huh. Gabe, what about you? I'll let you go first, man. I feel like you're better at picking those.
I'm picking these, yeah, because I'm the resident guy that loves sucky ass movies. It's one of that it's a movie that we did earlier in the earlier iteration of the show, which is The Pest.
The Pest. I feel like that was gonna be your pick. Yeah.
The Pest again, John Leguizamo. It's a terrible movie. I made you and Victoria and just sit through it.
Which is it's a movie I've seen before, but it was a very long time. I saw it as a kid on VHS, and I didn't remember a thing besides the duck scene. That's
Right.
it. And going back and watching, I'm like, man, this movie's like fucking racist. Man.
It's
This movie's
racist as fuck, and the jokes are like mid 80s and mid 90s outdated really bad, and it's a bad overall movie, but for some reason I absolutely love it.
yeah. No, it's for me, man. I felt like for years it was probably my answer would have been Bad Boys 2, but I feel like everybody has come around to it. But at the same time, people like normal folks like me and you and guys that I know and family members, they love Bad Boys 2. It was critics that hated it, but it was a big success anyway. And I don't know anybody that can't quote the Reggie scene, right? Like it's iconic. So I probably would have picked Bad Boys 2. Honestly, I'm not sure what my answer would be. I feel like it would have been that one, but I think a lot more people like it than don't now. Especially,
Right.
it's become more of a cult film. With especially with the third one that came out, more people came around and said, "No, Bad Boys 2 is actually good." So, I think it would have been that for me for sure. Otherwise, I don't know. Maybe see, I feel like the ones that I would pick would be the obvious ones, right? Like the ones that we've collectively have said, "Oh, this is actually good now," like Halloween 3 or something. Like we've all have agreed that like maybe we were all wrong about it before. Which that movie I saw later on, and like I never had an issue with it. Um, Adam's Family. Okay, what horror film would you direct if you had full creative control? I don't know, Gabe. What about you, man?
I'm gonna go to my stack because I would remake this, redo it, and that's gonna be Nightmare on Elm Street. So this is I put on one of these, and again I only have the DVD version. So if anybody wants to send me the Blu-ray collect, I'll
It's on
also
sale,
I would
man.
accept
Right
it.
now, you can get it for $19 on Amazon Day. Right now.
Oh, all right, cool. But I would direct this. I have a pretty cool idea on how we could revamp and restart this entire franchise. But yes, this is a must watch for me during Halloween season. Um, any one of them. I love New Nightmare. I know New Nightmare gets trashed a lot because it's like the meta after Scream type effect. But yeah, no, I would do creative control over Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, like I said, for me, it would be something I would create or an idea I've had, and I feel like that would be the route I would go. I'd rather make something of my own and have my own say in it. I mean, but in terms of what franchise I would want to do, I probably agree with Gabe. And A Nightmare on Elm Street would be ripe, and I've always had a pitch for that one. I feel like there's a way to do it to make it fun and make audiences invested again, and make it this big crowd pleaser as well as something super super scary. Um,
Right. Should we turn
no,
Flatbuster to like a radio silence type deal now, and we just start writing scripts for like different
yeah,
things and send them
sure.
in?
Why not? Why not? Um, Probation. Yeah, that's one of the best lines, man.
That Thanksgiving scene in Adam's Family too, right? Adam's Family's values when Wednesday just starts talking up about the indigenous and how the white man came to steal their, um, the land. I freaking love that scene, and I quote it every Thanksgiving. Like I'm just like, this is just like the best scene ever.
I watch it every Thanksgiving. I watch it every Thanksgiving. I that movie, those movies I was so obsessed with. I would like when I discovered them in HBO. Who knows how old I was, but my introduction was the cartoon show. You probably know it more, Gabe. I don't know if you remember the '90s one, but it would rerun for me in the morning with
Right.
Beetlejuice. They'd rerun it before the regular Saturday block would start at the beginning of the day. They'd play Adam's Family and Beetlejuice. And that was my introduction to the Adams Family, and then I saw the movies because of that.
Do you think that the Fox kids knew what they were doing running Beetlejuice and Adam's Family together? Like, did they know that they were creating future horror fans?
I think so.
Introducing kids to like the little spiders and the spookiness factor.
I have a question. And I this has been killing me because I don't have cable anymore. And I don't know if they run the regular channels or wherever the fuck. I think they don't do that, right? Like there's no basic, right? Like you can't just get like an antenna. There's not like you can't do that anymore.
Yeah, you can.
Can you?
Yeah. Uh,
Okay.
Fox, NBC, ABC, CBS are
So
still you could still run those on antenna.
so here's my question because Saturday morning cartoons, they were still on. I'm young, but Saturday morning cartoons in the early 2000s were still a thing. You know, like we had Kids WB and Fox Kids was at the tail end, and then what took over was Kids WB, or I think the CW Kids, and then there was something called Fox Box TV, and that would run Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Justice League. All those shows would be on there. Is this a thing? Like, is Saturday morning cartoons still a thing that exists because of streamers?
I don't think it
Somebody let us
exists
know.
on regular like
There's like
antenna TV.
right, like is it a thing? Because when we didn't have cable, the way it would go was I on Saturdays I'd wake up early to catch the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle episodes, and they also play the Batman, which was the new Batman show at the time. And then Cartoon Network would get other things like Dragon Ball Z and like the more like anime type shit, or like Courage the Cowardly Dog and Johnny Bravo. And then if you wanted to watch The Simpsons, it was on Sundays, and then the reruns were on late at night during the week.
10 o'clock.
But 10 o'clock, yeah, 10 o'clock. I would watch it like right before after the Drew Carey show. They'd run around the same time. But
So growing up for me, it was on Fox at 10 o'clock at night.
yeah,
They would rerun The Simpsons an hour long, 10 to 11. Then they would run into Seinfeld, um, and then there was Frasier. And then once MASH started, I would turn off the TV because I knew once MASH started, like I had to go to bed. It was like midnight at that point.
you know, I used to Mash would come on. I would watch. Somebody mentioned Me TV, and here Connor mentioned Me TV. I would watch TV Land as a kid. I loved like
Of course you would. You
nobody
would.
knows this.
Of
No, I
course.
seriously would love TV Land, the Brady Bunch, Happy Days. I'm a big Happy Days fan. The Munsters, the Addams Family,
You
Gilligan's
would.
Island. I watched all these,
You
but
would.
I always had fun with those, man. Laverne and Shirley. I watched a lot of old people shows, but the Batman and Robin show, the '60s one, would come on there, and they would come on after, and it was just I'm like these aren't too bad. Um, okay, here's another one. Somebody find out, are Saturday morning cartoons still a thing? That's something we need to know. It's killing me, man. Kids have tablets now. They really don't need it. But I
They
wonder if
don't.
there's
You got YouTube and Hulu and Disney
YouTube and Hulu,
Plus.
and they could fucking pirate that shit. Who is your dream guest for Flopbuster? You know, I mentioned it before. Like I said, for me, a dream guest is somebody that wants to come on, not somebody we need to beg to come on. Or we've asked people, and the answer is yes or no, or they flat out ignore it. And we're still a relatively small channel, so I get it. It's no hard feelings. We're gonna get there. Uh, the one person I would only reach out to if we ever got at least like 25, 30,000 subscribers, man, it would probably be like I said before, the guys from Double Toasted, Corey Coleman, or Christian Harloff, a lot the Schmoes Know guys, anybody that is in the space and likes all kinds of movies, somebody that we could shoot the shit with or interview, pick their brain about how they got to where they were. But what about you, Gabe? Who's yours?
Um, I mean, I would definitely say, say your sentiments as well, all those guys as well. I mean, you're as much as you got me into this space in a sense. Like you and I both know we both love movies, but you watched more YouTube videos than I did. So you got me following more guys that I've never really heard of before because I used to watch a lot of tech stuff.
Right.
One of the guys I would love to like just sit down and shoot the shit with though, even though it's not movies, but it's the guy that does the hot ones. Uh,
Oh yeah, he's great. He would
he's
be.
a he is a
He's a great host, man.
he's a great host. He's from Crystal Lake.
He is. Yeah, yeah.
Um, Sean
Yep.
Evans.
He would be awesome. I'd love to
I
have
just
him
I
on.
would just love to talk to him and just have that conversation with him about how he interviews his guests, the process of how he sits down and gets these questions. Because every single time we watch Hot Ones, and I don't want to promote another YouTube show because y'all should just watch us. But every time every time he does Hot Ones, every guest always says like, "How'd you know that question?" Like nobody knew that except whoever. But Sean Evans would be a great guy to get on here and talk about movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, I'd agree. Sean Evans, there's another show I like. It's I think it's called The Pizza Show. If they had it on Vice, and Frankie, that guy, he's a pizza connoisseur in Brooklyn. He would be great. If we're picking somebody that's non-movie related, I want somebody like that.
El Presidente.
El President, sure, that guy too. As controversial as he is, he might make for an entertaining guest. I think.
One
Um,
bite, everybody knows the rules.
did you see the one where this girl's like, "One bite, you're fucking ugly," like just roasted him, and he was so confused. He was like borderline offended by it. It was like the funniest thing I ever seen.
I'm offended by him, and since we got some people here, I just want you guys to know I'm offended by him because he keeps on talking about Chicago pizza, and it's like, dude, you're not having Chicago pizza. You just keep
A
on
deep
going to get
dish,
deep dish.
right?
Like
Yeah,
you go get Giordano's, you go get Illuminati's. Like it's not Chicago pizza. Like people know Chicago pizza. It's tavern style. It's
it's tavern
square
style.
cuts,
It's your local mom and pop style, whatever
thin
that is.
cracker, crust, whatever, and like cut into squares.
That's why for me, like, there is no best place. This is the best pizza place of all time. It's honestly everybody's gonna pick with what they grew up with or the style that they love that they grew up with. Because even in the Chicago style, there's subgenres of styles, right? Like I like for my dad likes the sweeter sauce of like a paisans, like or my aunt does. Like they like that. I personally like there's a place in Downers Grove that's Tortorici's or Al's in Cicero before it burned down. That was my place.
My place is Connie's.
Your place is Connie's. Like it's
Yes.
all different, but it's the same sort of like concept of this is
Right.
Chicago pizza. It's tavern style. Um, all right, we got some. What's up, Bernie man? How's it going? Carnell.
Carnal. Dude, that was
Carnell.
like the
Carnell.
widest
And I don't. You know
pronunciation
what?
of Carnal of all
And I'm not
time.
going to do it with the accent. I refuse to. Me TV is free with and Me TV is free with antenna in most places. It is. That's where I watched.
Carnal.
That's where I watched Fright Night for the first time. I'm gonna keep saying Carnell. It's where I watched Fright Night for the first time. It was on Svengoolie. It was a Saturday night. I forgot. Who knows how old I was? Actually, no. It was like maybe the second time I had seen it because I had seen it
Who's
before.
who's better, Svengoolie or Bozo? Who's more Chicago iconic, Bozo or
I don't. I
Svengoolie?
don't think I was. I think that's a question for like somebody older. I don't think Bozo was somebody like I knew of him, but I don't think I ever saw him on TV. But Svengoolie was always on. He's still on. Like, you can still watch him.
This is
If
true.
you have the U or Me TV, um, let's see. Team NT was on Saturday mornings. Was unbeatable. It was, man. Every iteration. I got up at like 8 a.m. for that shit. Us Chicago folks know Svengoolie was on Me TV. It's true. And the U with the Steve Harvey show. Your conversation made me think who's the best Simpsons character and why is it Ralph? For me, it is Barney. Barney's deep, man. Barney's got some fucking issues, but he's like incredibly smart. So Barney.
Barney?
Napoleon Palatine is fantastic. I've never had it.
I think the best Simpsons character for me is Chief Wiggum.
He's a fucking weirdo, man.
Chief Wiggum is just so dumb. and it just makes me laugh every single time, just on how dumb he is.
You gotta be smarter than that, Lou. Yeah, he's him and his son are both like really dumb. But there, I saw an episode where he was like into weird sex shit too. Um, let's move on, man. We haven't touched on these movies. Let's jump into these.
All
Um,
right, give me your like. I know you probably. I don't know if you have this on your list, but do you have an instant classic that you've seen this movie that you feel like you're gonna have to see every single Halloween from 2022?
from this year,
Yeah.
from this year, if there's a movie that I have seen from 2022 that's an instant classic, and I feel like the criteria for me has to be it reminds me of Halloween, right? In some kind of way. So I'm not gonna pick X or Scream. Um, that's tough, man. That's you know what? I'm gonna pick Barbarian. It is my favorite horror movie of the year, but I feel like it's got spooky basements and this giant practical creature thing. Spoiler, I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but it's a giant thing. It's been out for a month now. It's gonna come to HBO Max, but it's a giant practical effect with a spooky basement, and I like that kind of thing. I like the crazy camera angles and just the macabre vibe. So I think from this year, probably Barbarian. I don't know if I've loved every horror movie pretty much this year. So I would probably pick that one. What
I'd
about
go
you?
with the I don't have it yet. I don't know if it's even out yet, but I would go with the Black Phone. Like you said, it has the fall vibes. They're in school,
True.
leaves are on the ground. You have the mask, you have, child abduction, you have a creepy basement, you have ghost. To me, I feel like the Black Phone I could watch. I'm gonna be able to watch that every single Halloween season.
It's a great movie. It's a great movie that came and made a ton of money and was successful.
Yeah.
And I think it was probably the biggest crowd pleaser for me. Like one where you're just like, fuck yeah. When Ethan Hawke gets what's coming to him, the writing in that I really like. It's very classic. That's the one Joe Hill story that feels like his dad. That feels like Stephen King. So like them adapting it, I thought it worked really well, and Ethan Hawke was scary. Um, What's okay? So with that in mind, what's one that's recent? What's your most recent sort of horror classic that you've added to, like that you watch year after year? Like one of the new ones, man. Maybe 10, 15 years within that time frame.
10, 15 years. I mean, if it's 10 years, I mean, it's got to be Trick or Treat.
I same one, same one. This release is sick. It is sick. I almost wish they don't have a 4K coming out
Damn,
because it
yours
was
got the
so
sleeve
recent.
cover. I didn't get the cover. Mine didn't come with the cover.
I pre-ordered this as soon as I saw the cover. And this has always been a movie that from the moment I saw it, I said, this is a new classic. Even as a kid, when I saw it, this movie ripped. It completely kicks ass.
This movie is one of those movies that you're I was walking down and I know the scene. I know my in my head exactly how it went. I didn't know what movie to watch that Friday night. So I'm walking down Blockbuster's horror aisle or the new releases. And I see this, I mean, probably not this cover, but I see Trick or Treat and I get intrigued, and I'm like, all right, let's check this out. And I fell in love instantly. And it was one of those movies that nobody really knew what it was. Like nobody knew, and it was like 5 years down the line. Still, I talked about people about Trick or Treat, Trick or Treat. Like what? What is that? What is that? What is that? Finally, over the course of would want to say the last 5 years, maybe this movie has gotten a revival, and
It's
everybody's on Sam's nuts. Everybody's up all like, oh, Trick or Treat and this and that. Spirit Halloween has nothing but Sam stuff now. You can buy
every
a
year.
Sam every year. So like I
Every
said,
year.
the last 5 years, and I feel like I was on the underground. I feel like this was like the underground movie that people were like, I was in it before
Well,
it was cool type.
well, imagine how everybody feels who saw those initial screenings, man, because this movie was supposed to come out in 2007. It played at Button-Umathon, which was a festival in the early 2000s, and Warner Brothers was planning a theatrical release. The Superman Returns box office results did not go as planned, and I don't know why the fuck that had anything to do with this, other than they're written by the same guy. Um, so they pulled the plug, and then they said this is going straight to video. I was on the internet obsessed with movies at this point, so I knew about it. I was reading the movie blog and Shock Till You Drop and Bloody Disgusting and all these things, and I knew this thing was coming out. And then when it did come out, we were there opening night at Blockbuster to rent it, and it was me, my entire family, and it was perfect. I still think this is a perfect 80-minute thrill ride. That if you love anything about horror movies and Halloween, I think there's something in it for everybody.
There
There's
is.
some, and it's awesome.
I would even venture maybe not the last scene, but you could still probably watch it with kids. I mean,
Yes.
you know
It
what I'm
plays well
saying?
with kids. Besides maybe, the boobs, that's
The
really it.
boobs at the
That's
end.
that's really it. And if you're a kid, I don't know, like my parents never really freaked out by that kind of thing. I feel like
No,
maybe for you, I feel like it's a new thing that parents sort of freak out with the sexuality in movies. Bring back sex in movies. Everybody's very sexless. Every movie with The Rock, he is the most sexless superstar in the world. We need to bring back sex in movies. Um, congrats on 500, guys. Thank you, Mike Jones. Thank you. I love that profile picture, man. We're excited. We're excited. We hope we get to 600 soon. Well, whatever it is that we do, we got a lot planned.
Mike
Not really.
Jones.
Mike Jones. Um, Trick or Treat is absolutely a classic. It's near perfect, amazing.
Right.
Thanks to Movie Stop for exposing me to this gem. Yeah, man. For me, it was Blockbuster. It was Blockbuster. I remember exactly what night and where I was, and this is a great release. And this is like 4 years old, 5 years old. I think it's 2017, 2018. This is one of the greatest covers I think Shout Factory, Scream Factory ever did. It's this one, and it's I love it. I think it's good. Another one I want to add that's recent that is probably, if it wasn't for Evil Dead 2, it would probably be my favorite Sam Raimi horror movie. I'm not counting The Evil Dead, the remake, because it's Fede Alvarez, and
Right.
I do think that's a classic. Me and you love that movie. But that's Drag Me into Hell. I think this is awesome. When people talk about PG-13 horror doesn't work, watch more. There's a ton of PG-13 horror that is awesome, and this is one of them. This is like the crown jewel. This is a movie that is so gross and funny, disgusting, and has great jump scares too. And this is again another one I think was the same year where Scream Factory was just killing it with the cover game. This is such a cool cover. Um,
That's the Gypsy woman, right?
yep.
Yo, man, that car scene in that, yeah, it's good.
The car
It,
scene is like so gross.
it
It's
is.
so gross. It is just like every
It
gag
gets
you
me.
think of, he does it. The teeth and then the biting and the puking, all those. It's all in the movie. But throw me another one, man. What's another movie for you?
Maybe a little bit longer, and maybe not within the last 10 years, maybe 15 years. But I love Constantine, bro.
You mentioned it. You
Constantine.
mentioned it before, man.
Constantine is the one movie that I've had on VHS, I had on DVD, I've had on Blu-ray, and I hear they're going to release a 4K version within the next month or two, and I'm going to upgrade that to 4K as well. I love Constantine. I'm excited for the sequel, but this movie for me has the devil, it has God, it has angels, it has demons, it has an exorcism,
And Shia
and
LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf and Keanu Reeves and Rachel Weisz. You have the angel Gabriel is played by what's her face? It's right here.
Tilda Swinton. Tilda
Tilda
Swinton.
Swinton.
Yeah.
You know, you have Gavin Rossdale. It's just a great movie. It's a
That movie's
great.
it's underrated. And again, it's another one that's everybody's going, that movie was kind of awesome and it was a fun time. Sam is easily a recent horror icon. The movie was just on AMC today, which I caught that. That's just off one movie. Yeah, I saw it Saturday. I saw it Saturday at the theater. It was awesome. First time on the big screen. Um, yeah, it was
I'm
it was
gonna
great.
go the weekend of the 20th if they're playing it around here. The weekend of the 20th, so I'm gonna go that weekend.
Dude, it was worth it, man. I've been trying to see all these recent re-releases in theaters.
Are you gonna see
Uh,
the Exorcist re-release?
I'm gonna try. I saw the ad for that. There's Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula. They re-released. So there's a
I just
few.
saw that.
I'm probably not gonna make most of them, but like the Universal Monster one, I wanted to go. I just couldn't pull it off. But this weekend we saw Scream 2, Terrifier, and Trick or Treat. So it was cool. It was really cool. The
Yeah.
only thing about Scream 2 that sucked was it was not the new 4K, which I bought. Usually with these Fathom events, what you're watching is the new 4. It's like a promotional tie-in. You're watching the new 4K scan, so you go home and buy the new 4K movie. What they showed us was like the DVD scan, so the movie didn't look great.
But see, I was hearing that there was also another issue with another, Fathom events with another movie that did the same thing. That the picture quality wasn't that great.
They must be getting like, I don't know, but it definitely, like, we saw Poltergeist, and Poltergeist was the recent. Watching it, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is completely upscaled and cleaned up. And when I got home, we bought it too, and it looked the same. But Scream 2 looked like my old DVD.
Is there some
Like,
movies though
yeah.
that you feel like don't need that 4K upscale? Because I feel like Poltergeist wouldn't be the one that I would need to see that in 4K. Only
So
because
my
the fuzzy picture, the fuzzy TV, and Jack Planch.
So my argument with that, and if I were you, if even if you don't have any interest, maybe pick it up when it's on sale. Because Poltergeist, I feel like with older movies, they need it the most because there's that mindset of people that go, I don't want to watch an older movie, or maybe it's too boring, or this and that. What's great about 4K, you're watching the film in the way it's meant to be seen. It's not just cleaned up, it's not digitally scrubbed. It's cleaned so you can watch it in the best presentation possible. They're enhancing the sound, the colors, everything. And with Poltergeist, they got one of the best upgrades I had seen in a while. We got at least 10 new releases that me and Victoria picked up. Poltergeist I would put in the top 3 of those releases. For 82, it's not only cleaned up the image, but the sound is enhanced. It felt
Okay.
like watching something new. So
Right.
I would say Poltergeist needed it. Like the Lost Boys, to tell you the truth, I like the 4K. I don't think it looks much better than the Blu-ray. And I would be honest with you, and I loved that movie. It doesn't look much better than the Blu-ray. And then, like, I don't know if there was much you could do with that, but like Fright Night, for example, which is another one I have here. We rewatched it, and this is another October favorite. It's one of my favorite horror movies, probably top 5. Um, this needed it. This is a movie that needed it. It looked like it, and when you watch it, it shows. It looks brand spanking new.
So since we're gonna do The Exorcist at one of these Fandango events, are
Yes.
you telling me that my copy of The Exorcist, they're gonna give me a 4K version finally?
I think that is that not on 4K? I feel like The Exorcist is or might be coming to 4K.
Might be coming to 4K.
I think you should upgrade. I think that's another movie, like, that's a classic that they're gonna handle so well.
This shit's scary still, man.
I know,
Listen,
man. It's an
The
old DVD cover.
Exorcist. I'm gonna go out here and just say The Exorcist. I know it doesn't work out for a lot of you youngins out there anymore, but for me, The Exorcist is my number one horror movie of all time. Like the subject matter, the way Reagan is presented, the priest, the going through the exorcism, the pea soup. I know we all know it's fucking pea soup by now, but The Exorcist. Oh my god, dude! Like I never. So the first time I saw The Exorcist was early 2000s. After hearing it from my parents, and it was their scariest movie of all time, and then they re-released it to theaters with this extended director's cut. That was like the entire thing. They're like, "Oh, it's the extended director's cut." I went to go see it. I was scared out of my fucking mind. I walk into my house, and there's the scene in The Exorcist where she's like going down the stairs,
Crab
like
walk.
on the floor, the
Yeah.
crab walk.
Mhm.
So in my house in those days, you enter, and the first thing that you see are fucking stairs. I come into my house, it's pitch black, no light design. I open the door, I see those fucking stairs. I'm like, all right, I am sleeping in the fucking family room. I didn't want to go up those fucking stairs. I slept on the fucking couch. Like that movie did that to me, and I was like,
I feel
is
like
it?
we all have that movie though, right? Like there's one horror movie that really just fucking freaks you out. The Exorcist was never like that for me. I know it's like that for most, like my mom would say that, or my cousin would be like, The Exorcist, it's the scariest movie. I feel like I was so, by the time I had seen it as a
You were
kid,
desensitized.
yeah, it would come on AMC Fear Fest every year, and at that point, I was already watching horror movies. I was probably 9 or 10, and I was so obsessed with them. By the time I'd seen it, it was cool. I thought it was really cool, and it was more like having fun with it. I wasn't scared. I was just really fun seeing those effects when Reagan's like spitting up and cursing at the father and stuff like that. As an adult, it's a great movie. It's a great drama, right? Like it's really good. But as
Right.
a kid, I never got the fear out of it.
And it was
Um,
like that one scene where she has the crucifix. She's like, "Fuck me, Jesus! Fuck me,
yeah,
Jesus!"
right. Like it's just fucking, it's crazy. Like it's fucking crazy. This is one that you picked up,
I
and
did pick this up.
I watch this every year. There's, real quick. There's one I want to mention that is not on 4K. I have it in this Tim Burton pack that came out like maybe 10 years ago. This is a movie that is in dire need of a 4K. It's probably top 5 favorite October movies ever, and probably one of the first horror movies I had ever seen. And it is Sleepy Hollow, Tim Burton Sleepy Hollow, one of my favorite Tim
Sleepy
Burton
Hollow,
movies.
yes.
I think it's so fun. Every image is like a painting. The cinematography is out of this world. The comedy is great. It's slapstick, but brutal and dark and gory. I wanted to shout that out real quick because it just reminded me of Bram Stoker's Dracula, which is, again, one of the most beautiful horror movies you can watch. The cinematography is like next level, and it's Francis Ford Coppola. And this 4K is really good. It is really good. The cover's great. Steelbook's good, but the image quality and the upscale is awesome. And you get Keanu attempting a British accent. But I'll give him a point for trying because it's such an
I didn't find
entertaining
him that
movie.
bad.
I
Maybe
don't,
maybe I'm a huge Keanu guy, but I didn't think it was that bad.
I actually really like him in this movie. I know he gets a ton of shit for it, but I just think the whole cast, Gary Oldman is scary.
You know, him
Fucking
and
scary.
Winona are married because of that movie.
Really?
Yeah, so that when they were getting married in the Greek Orthodox Church, that was actually a
Oh
Greek
wow.
Orthodox priest in the church. There was an actual ceremony. So Winona Ryder says that she'll mess with Keanu every once in a while, be like, "Hey, how you doing, husband?" And calls him his husband. He meshes back, "Oh, not much, wife." So like in the eyes of the Greek Orthodox Church, they're married.
They love each other. They love each other too, man. Like they always talk about it. Let's reference the chat real quick because everybody's just popping off a little bit. Uh, Okay, so Bernie was saying Constantine is great, which he's with you on it. Constantine's a lot of fun, and I think it's going to be really cool to see a sequel. I went to Fathom Events for Three from Hell, and they started playing Devil's Rejects instead. Kind of a good thing. um, Give me Gremlins 2 and 4K ASAP. I agree with you. I agree, honestly, in both, and we need House of a Thousand Corpses. Gremlins 2, I think, is one of the best sequels ever made. I will stand by that. I think it does something different and wild. It doesn't try to be the first movie. It does something unique. That needs a 4K. I was so happy when I found the Blu-ray like 10 years ago because it was so hard to find. But I love Gremlins too. I think it's awesome. The power of 4Ks you. The power of God 4Ks you. Um, Spooky. Yeah, man. Gremlins 2 is up there. I would put that on a list of movies I would love to
I
see.
got a Gremlins 1 and 2 Blu-ray combo pack.
I'm pretty sure that's the one I got. Pretty sure that's the one I got. It's hard to find Gremlins 2 releases. Um, for a good price too.
I think I picked it up for like $5 at like the Walmart Blu-ray bin.
Those were the best. Those Walmart Blu-ray bins were the best. And then I don't know. I don't see them anymore.
They don't. They're gone.
Yeah, they're
I
gone.
don't like they
There's
have
like a
like
weird mixture of DVD. It's like a DVD bin that's $5 that has some Blu-rays in it, but there was that whole bin where it would be like a ton, like a literally.
Blu-rays.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're gone.
they're done. We mentioned Addams Family. I'm just gonna show it real quick. This is another pick I had in here. Nothing else I could say, man. This is like, I feel like this has got to be in everybody's list. You know, like it's 1 and 2. Although I would put 2 more of a Thanksgiving movie just because of
Right.
that.
And
And this
then
is another one, real quick. I'm gonna mention the witches. The transformation scene in this is fucking scary
was
for a
it the
children's
80s
movie.
version or the new HBO Max
This is
version?
the old one. This is with Angelica Houston. Um, it's a frightening movie for a movie that's for children. The transformation scene is scary, man. It's really scary.
You know, I had that confused the other day with the Witches of Eastwick.
That's a good movie. I like that movie.
So for me, I'm gonna reference because everybody knows, and if Connor's still in here, you'll be excited. Is I gotta watch these two right here
Oh
every
no,
season. Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses. Like those are must watches for me. At
I
least
I love Devil's Rejects. It's great. It's a great movie.
House of a
I
Thousand Corpses.
I think of Devil's Rejects more as like summer horror, just because of how hot and like just grimy it is.
Yeah.
That's a great film and one of the best opening credits. I definitely think his Lords of Salem is it for sure Halloween movie. I actually have it on my list to rewatch. So this month I'm gonna get to it for sure.
I
Once
saw it
again,
earlier this month, October 1st, when I started my list.
holds up.
Um, I feel like so every Rob Zombie movie besides the monsters, I go to the theaters and see. And I remember coming out of Lords of Salem saying this movie fucking sucks, and I was mad that I went to go see it, and I was like, what the fuck? But upon every single rewatch, I like it a little bit more and a little bit
I
more
really
and
like
a
it.
little bit more. And now it got to a point where yeah, I really enjoyed. I really liked Lords of Salem. It holds up really well. And maybe I was in a different state of mind when I first saw it. Maybe I couldn't appreciate the aesthetic or what he was trying to do because I'm coming in from House of a Thousand Corpses. I'm coming in from Devil's Rejects, and he gives me something completely different that maybe I wasn't ready for, and I was just like, all right. But now I really love it.
He's trying to do it's like a rockabilly Rosemary's Baby. He's trying to do something like that.
Yeah.
It's slower, but it's cool. I like the cinematography in that. The one movie from this set, which is one of the coolest sets, it's Psycho. It came on TV every single year, every year this season. Psycho was on TV, so Psycho is one that I try to watch. I already watched it this month, and I think I'll probably revisit it because Victoria, I don't think has watched Psycho all the way through. So Psycho
Oh,
was on my list.
bless her. Speaking of Psycho, I have Psycho 2005.
American Psycho. American Psycho.
American Psycho 2005 here. Um, but this movie is just great for me.
It's
Um,
great. He's
Christian
he's crazy.
Bale,
He's fucking crazy in it.
yeah, it's he's crazy in it, and then the ending where it might be a dream, it may not, he might be dead, who knows? Like very ambiguous ending.
Yeah, no, I love it. Actually, I have the 4K too. Your cousin bought it for me. I haven't cracked it open yet. It's been a while since I've watched it, but that movie is like terrifying. It came out around that time period where there was these main characters that would be so morally like fucked up, like Fight Club in this movie or American Beauty.
Right.
It's interesting they all came out around the same time period. But American Psycho, that movie, it rules. It really does. Here's one that's gonna make you happy, and I have not opened this yet. I haven't opened this. Victoria bought it, and I've talked about before. Out of this franchise, I only like the first movie. In fact, I think the first movie is beyond good. I think it's really, really good, and that is Child's Play. I assume this is gonna look amazing because Scream Factory is behind it, and I've heard these look pretty good. It's the first one. It's the only one I need to own. It's the only one I've owned in other iterations.
You need to
So,
own the first three. I would give you the first three.
man, because of Victoria, we bought all these shitty Halloween movies. I'm not gonna spend money on the shitty sequels to these. All right.
No,
But no, this isn't a movie that like I feel like for some people they fell in love with Chucky and Child's Play, and it's like the thing that scared them as a kid, and it's their introduction. For me, I saw it when I was like 12 for the first time. Like at that point, this little shit wasn't gonna scare me. So I just thought the first movie was just really good, and I can't wait to open this. I'm gonna wait a little bit, but I'm definitely gonna knock it out this
listen,
month.
every
I love it.
single Mexican or Latino
That's true.
kid household was always scared by El Chucky. Your parents would be like, if
That's
you don't
true.
go to sleep, El Chucky's gonna get you. El
Yeah.
Chucky, El Chucky, and Chucky this. He was bigger than El Cucuy. And everybody was like, oh, El Chucky's gonna get you. Um,
So I want
but
to reference this real quick because Connor says I'm not a fan of Child's Play either, Tony, but I do enjoy three after we watched it for the show. Okay, here's my issue with these movies, and I don't want to knock anybody that likes them because they're popular, and this is a hot
really,
take.
you knock me all the time.
This is a hot take, and obviously I'm in the minority. Even if I give Gabe shit, I'm in the minority because the show is so popular, and people love Don Mancini, and he's shepherded his baby along into this thing that horror fans hold up high. To me, there's certain movies that end with the first one. They start and end with the first one. I think Tom Holland did such a great job with this, and
Right.
everything that we love about that character, he rewrote. He he brought those elements to Chucky. You know, the serial killer aspects, the voodoo. That's all Tom Holland's ideas. Don Mancini didn't like any of those ideas. In fact, I don't think Don was even on set for the movie. I don't think he was a fan of what they were doing. Um, in his version, Chucky makes a blood pact, or Andy makes a blood pact with the doll. Um, I don't know. I just think every idea that we like about that franchise starts and ends with this movie, and it has the best cast too. Like everybody in here is just really good, and uh, Chris Sarandon is great as the cop, and I know he was a regular that worked with Tom Holland, but I think Tom Holland understood suspense and how to build suspense. He did it with Fright Night, and he does it here so well that I
Yeah.
just don't need the other movies. Once the magic trick is over, like to me, the movie, I don't need to watch it. I think the other ones are fun enough, and I understand why people like them. I wouldn't argue against them. I just think for as good as this story and where it starts and where it ends, and if it's genuinely a good scary movie, I would say the first one, the first one for sure.
Yeah, I would agree the first one's the scariest, although I could argue that Child's Play 2 is even better. Hence the Child's to Play 2 poster right behind me here. But as a fan of the franchise, I will agree that Mancini has ushered in just terrible installments to this franchise with Curse and oh God,
People,
what was the other one?
people love those, man. Curse and Cult, like
Cult.
those are.
Oh yeah.
I was a little
Um,
confused because I went into those and everybody was saying it's like the first movie. It's like the first movie. He's trying to
no, and
get
I
back to
guess
those
this is the
roots.
Child's Play. This is a Child's Play segment of this because I will say this. I will, and I will die on this island by myself because you know how I feel. I really like the remake. I feel like the remake works.
I enjoyed it.
People call me and be like, you are like I'm talking nonsense. But what works in that movie is that it's AI, right? What's people's biggest fear of, at the moment, is AI and being sentient and just
Well,
going live.
and to piggyback off of that, the magic trick doesn't work if you remake Child's Play. We know the twist. The doll is alive. We know that. So they go, okay, we can't do that. So let's take the elements that people love. We'll add it into this movie, but we'll change the magic trick. And it's
Right.
that the AI gets corrupted. Like
It
we'll
gets
do that
corrupted.
instead.
And
And I think
then
that makes for a more entertaining movie than a basic remake of
right.
the
And
storyline.
then how are we all like nowadays, right? Everything's all interconnected. Your
Right.
thermostat's connected to your computer, your Wi-Fi, your cars, your drones, like everything's connected to Wi-Fi. And having a Chucky, right, be able to control all these things and bring like different avenues to like kill somebody with, that made it very scary. I understand people don't like the look of them. I understand people don't like, that whole AI aspect. I didn't mind the way that he looked. Obviously he's gonna look a little bit different than, the current iteration
And
of
movie's
Child's
also
Play.
like genuinely well made and has a honest to god good cast. And
It does.
Aubrey
Audrey
Plaza,
Plaza,
Brian Terry Henry,
Brian
who
Terry
like
Henry.
you could argue is probably better than this movie, but he's in the movie. Like these people are in this movie. Mark Hamill isn't trying to do the basic Chucky voice. He's doing something a little different. I don't think it's like
This is for Tupac.
right. Like the movie is very playful, and it understands that you're coming for something playful. But I don't know. I feel like it tries to it delivers what you want while being different. It knows
Right.
the magic trick is something that you're expecting, so it's going okay. We'll make it about AI
Which
instead,
give
because
me a sequel of that new remake.
dude, I thought it was well made. I thought it was like there was some genuine care that went into it.
You cared about Aubrey Plaza's character. You cared about the new Andy. You cared about Brian Tyree's character. I mean, you cared about these guys. Like I said, I will die on the hill. I love the remake. I think the first two, maybe even the third, the first three Chuckies are the best in the franchise. So I would go one, two remake, and then three as my top four favorite in the entire franchise. The other ones, I could really care less. Once Chucky's face started getting all stitched up and we bring in Tiffany, you lose me a little bit within that franchise.
I agree. I agree. Honestly, I really enjoyed the remake. I thought it went for something different, and I thought that it at the same time was still trying to be as entertaining as possible. I
Right.
don't think it's a movie I've revisited
But
often.
see,
I think
me
I
and
paused
Connor
on it
agree.
once.
He loved the remake as well. So
There we go. Connor's on our side. I was gonna save these. You know what? I'll save those because those are like the obvious ones, right?
Which was
Okay.
Halloween, Friday the
Yeah.
13th.
Regardless, we'll save them. I want to talk about these. God damn it! I feel like it's my allergies, man. Um. Okay. So these two. I love Laika. I think they're such a cool company that even if they don't make the most money, these movies are still happening and they're still being made. You know, like they're not the biggest success, but this one in particular, Coraline, I rewatched today, and I know they have the 4Ks coming out. I don't know how much of an upgrade these can get. So when you mentioned like how much can a movie upgrade from 4K, I don't know about these because they look great already. They look pretty much 4K, and I'm pretty sure these are just 4Ks downscaled into a Blu-ray disc, just compressed. So it's the same scan that you're getting in the new release anyway.
Mhm.
But this movie is so good and it's so dark, and the casting is great. And I rewatch this one more often than every October. It's the one I'm most familiar with. But Paranorman I had seen in theaters in 2012, and I thought it was really good. And then it's been a few years. I haven't opened this one because this came after Halloween, but I rewatched it last Halloween, and I just thought it was so smart, man. Like all the jokes hit. It's got a love for horror movies, so this is one when I watched it last year. I'm like, I'm gonna add it to the rotating list because I love their animation, and I think this is such a good love letter, and it knows what it's trying to do in terms of horror.
Right.
So these two are more in terms of like family friendly movies. These have this undercurrent of adult humor, you know, and especially when it comes to dark jokes about death and murder and even sexuality. Laika actually does whatever they want. Like it's not like Pixar or something where they have to hide it. They could do whatever they want because they're running sort of independent, and then they go and release their movies. But these two have become a highlight that I've added to the collection.
So I haven't seen Paranorman, but Coraline, I would agree that the mother scene, the other mother,
The
is
other mother.
just so it's creepy.
It's creepy though. The
The
movie is
eyes, yeah, the whole movie is freaking creepy. Paranorman I haven't seen, but I will say I would add two movies on my side, also by your guy Tim Burton, Frankenweenie, and
yes.
Nightmare Before Christmas. Now,
Yes.
Nightmare Before Christmas, it's a little bit of a cheat because you could
But
watch it for Halloween and Christmas. It's both,
but it
right?
has to do with the same guy, right? It's Henry Selick who's got a new one coming out, and that's Wendell and Wild, which is I'm excited. It's going to be another Halloween stop motion film. He did Coraline. He did not do Paranorman, but he did Coraline. And I know Tim Burton produced Coraline, and it's the same thing here. Tim Burton created the characters for Nightmare Before Christmas.
For
Henry Selick,
Disney. And then
yeah,
Disney's like, I don't think we could do this. Here you go. Disney gave him back the rights, and then he did it. And then Disney's like, oh wait, we want it to be Disney now after like
it got
6
really
years after
weird.
release.
Their release of this was really weird. They were not confident in this movie.
No.
Henry Selick just did a movie for them that they canned halfway through production. Like he's pretty pissed about it. And Netflix came and said, "We'll let you do whatever you want. Here's some money. Go do it." But he was supposed to do a movie for them, for Disney, and he was like halfway done, and they stopped it. So that sucks. You can find pictures of it online. What's another one for you, man? What's another one that you're gonna pick?
Well, I'm gonna go with the obvious because at this point, because it's up here, and we're talking about Halloween. So I'm gonna go with whatever is on this. Um, and
It's
it's
the
probably
first Scream Factory release. That one's that was worth a lot of money for a little bit.
it still is. I found this at this replay, a little gem over here in the Chicagoland area of used things for like I think it's going for like $200 on eBay. I got it for $50. Um, but obviously, what I watch mostly out of this is this disc because it has Halloween Resurrection, H2O, Rob Zombies 1 and 2. And these are the four that I watch more during this creepy season. More than
Um,
this.
yeah, I mean, I never owned that collection, and I kind of missed the boat on it. And that was one I always kicked myself because every time I saw it, it was so expensive. So these 4Ks coming out were like a blessing in disguise.
I don't. I can't. When I have a complete series like this, I know it's on Blu-ray and stuff. I can't justify buying the 4Ks. I have the entire collection. Like, why do I you know what I'm saying? And
Maybe I can pitch you on which ones are worth your money. Actually, I would say all of them are. In terms of upgrade, it's gonna be significantly better than what you
but
have in your
see, I only enjoy Rob Zombie's 1 and 2 and the first one, and actually Season of the Witch, and
Okay,
that's it.
so I wanna pitch you on that one real quick because I'll get to the big dogs. Um, this is one of the best ones you can pick up. A 4K horror movie. This is one of the best. The transfer on your 4K TV is gonna look insane. This movie has never looked better. On Blu-ray, it doesn't compare to this. The detail that you're getting in this is uncompromised because what they did with these movies and what they do with every 4K Scream Factory release is they take the original camera negatives and they use those as the source. So that means that they're completely starting back at stage one. Here's the camera roll. This is what we're doing. This comes with a bunch of great special features, but the color enhancement in this and the sound design, I already had it in my stack. I think for the past 4 years now, I've been watching this every year. Last year, we threw this on. It came just in time, and we watched it on Halloween, and it looked amazing. It's never looked better. If there's one that you find on sale, Gabe, and if you like to revisit this one, pick this up. You need to pick
So
it up.
our Ask Me Anything has turned into a pitch for 4K to our viewers.
But you know, because I think physical media is important to me because as much as I do like streaming and the convenience of streaming, I'm not somebody that shit talks it. I have a digital collection and I upload most of my movies into there, and I'm really interested in Plex. I like the idea of a Plex server. But when it comes to movies, I think you should watch them in the most uncompromised way possible. And 4K disc allows you to watch the movies as they were intended by the filmmaker. Because most of the time, the filmmaker is involved. They're not involved with a general release. When Disney or Warner Brothers throws out a Blu ray, the director really isn't involved. But when these boutique labels do it, the director is there, the cinematographer is there. Dean Cundy was there to oversee all of this, and he shot the first three Halloween movies. So when I talk about those, I'd say you gotta have 4K. You'll notice the difference. I realize more often than not that the people that don't like 4K have never seen a true uncompromised 4K image, not streaming, and there's a huge difference. So if I
Speaking
had
of
to pitch you,
4K,
keep it alive.
speaking of 4K, I go with another heavy hitter because I have the 4K and I know you do too.
Yes,
But this is the first one. I'm not bringing the entire 4K Scream Factory box set into this whole thing, but I do. Before I owned the 4K, I had this Friday the 13th
I had
Blu-ray
that collection.
collection.
I got rid of it.
Hey, whoever wants this,
Hey, but
send
you
me
know
a
what's messed
message. I'll
up?
send this to you
You know what's messed up? They
for
came
free.
out with that like not even right before the new one was coming out. That's really messed up. That
Yeah,
was like
because I
not
was
too
missing the
far
new
off.
one.
Yeah, it wasn't too far off, man. And then the Screen Factory set is great. It's 4K Blu-ray. It's the Blu-ray, but it's still 4K image. It's just compressed down the disc, but they look incredible.
They
Like they
do.
all look amazing
The
on there.
first one looks amazing on there, and I know they did the 4K of the new one, the remake that's on there. That also looks incredible. But yeah, I think I mean, obviously, I think for Halloween, most people are gonna watch the big slashers. They're gonna watch Freddy, they're gonna watch Friday the 13th, they're gonna watch Michael Myers.
Right.
Um Hellraiser this year, we can't forget about Hellraiser, you
You
know.
know what's one that I always came on TV, and I'm probably gonna watch it because it's probably gonna pop up somehow in
Halloween
some.
Town.
Uh, yeah, I'm gonna watch that. I actually am. Uh, Pet Cemetery, the original Pet Cemetery. I don't have the 4K. It's on 4K. I heard it's great. I don't own it.
I don't
But
like it.
you don't like the original Pet Cemetery.
I don't like any of the Pet Cemeteries, the remake or the original. I think you and I had talked about this. And you know what? Go ahead, go with your thought because I feel like I'll just take over. Just
I don't have like the biggest thoughts on Pet Cemetery. I just think it's a movie that like nostalgia wise, it's one I gravitate towards. Like, oh yeah, I remember watching it as a kid and like just being in that spooky sort of mood, coming home with all my candy and it was on TV and stuff. I don't think it's a great movie. I think it's got some genuinely cool effects. Um, Herman Munster's in there, so that's cool. The remake I thought was fine. the biggest problem with the remake was the marketing. Like the marketing ruined the twist. That's the first time I hate when people say the marketing ruins the movie. Most of the time it's not true. This was the one instance where I was like, why did they show that? Like we're expecting one thing and they threw the monkey in the wrench, but they showed it in the trailer. They showed it in the goddamn trailer. And that's a movie that I thought was genuinely well made that just got hurt by the marketing. Like the biggest twist that you were coming in for, they ruined it. I don't know. What are your thoughts on? I don't think I ever asked you your thoughts on Pet Cemetery.
For the most part, I don't like Pet Cemetery, the original or the remake. The story just seems a little slow to me. I don't know. It just never hit right. I understand there's some scary factor to it, but it just doesn't hit right for me. Never did. It just doesn't sit well for me.
It's fair. I don't think there's a ton of people that really love those movies. They just have been successful.
I feel like I love the idea of Stephen King, right? It's Pet Cemetery,
Right.
um, but I feel like when his books are scarier than the movies that they've adapted. I feel like his movies don't translate. I feel his books don't translate as well into films. Now,
He's. I would say it's true.
uh,
He ventures off a lot in his writing, and like the best way to really read a Stephen King book is by, I would say, doing the audiobook. If you want to full on experience, those audiobooks are great.
there's one, and it was a short story, and I love this movie, and that's the God damn it, the what's the name of it?
Misery, Gerald's Game, Dreamcatcher,
No.
The
It was
Mist.
the three kids.
Oh, Stand by Me.
Stand by Me. I
Right.
love Stand by Me, and that was a short story. But I love Stand by Me. I think that movie is just amazing. I know we're talking about horror, but the Mist, the one I actually just got the Mist.
That Mist is good. Stand by Me is great. That's a movie that's personal to King. Rob Reiner directed Stand by Me and Misery. I would say those are
Those are
some of the best.
probably three of his best.
I would say so. I would say that the Green Mile I would throw up there too. It's very long, but I think it's a good. And Shawshank. Shawshank is
Sure.
another one.
But see, we're talking about more of his non-horror translating well into film more than his horror. And like we said, he is a great horror author, and the way he describes things and the way that he puts just he makes he like when you read a Stephen King novel, it's like you feel yourself fully immersed into his world that he's building. But the movie doesn't translate that well for me.
Hey, man, there's a lot of people that share that point of view, especially with like the Dark Tower. We had Leo come on, and he said, "Man, I love the Dark Tower. It can be great. It's epic, but they just can't nail it." Connor, to your point about the miniseries, there's a ton of people that like that show. I think it's a good, it's a fair adaptation for its time. It's not one I revisit. I do think the reboot did the best it could with that material by updating it to the 80s. And I don't even think it chapter 2 is all that bad. It's really the adult stuff. The thing that works about it is it jumps back and forth in time. It jumps to mythology. Like the book is a full-on meal. It's I think I listened to it in like 48 hours. It's long. It's a long listen and it's an even longer read. It'll probably take you a little bit to read. It's like 1,000 pages. But everything about that book, it's hard to adapt all of that into one movie or even two movies. But I don't mind the miniseries, but I do think the movies were able to convey some of the mythology just a little bit better. I know Chapter 2 gets some flack. It is a little goofy. I already watched it last year. I didn't mind it. It's never been a movie that I flat out hated. It's fine, but
It's fine.
I do think the 2017 adaptation gets a lot of things right while also delivering just a standalone horror film.
Right.
But let's move on, man. We got I got a few still. I got a few left in the chamber.
I got do you have Scream?
I did not put that on here because I feel like okay, I don't rewatch Scream on Halloween, and it's probably my top three of favorite horror movies. I love Scream. I love Scream
Right.
2, but I watch them like the rest of the year nonstop. You know, so like it's not one I think of when I think of Halloween. That's why I never put it in there for me. I know a lot of people add it, but somebody asked me that on Facebook too if I was gonna watch it. Off topic. Oh no, here's my cousin Carlos. Off topic, but when are we getting Windy City Dicks too? I have no idea. I have no idea. For those of you that do not know, in film
Tony
school,
created.
Tony created in 2015. So this is 7 years ago. I created a riff on like It's Always Sunny or The League, and it was like its own thing. And it was a show that I wrote, directed, and starred in. It was going to be a web series. It was called The Windy City Dicks, and it was about me and my friend, played by Sky Cell and I, Adrian, and my other friend, who's actually an actor. He actually is a real actor, and he just worked on a show Mo for Netflix. Desmond. We created the show called Windy City Dicks, where we were three, early 20 something people that were aspiring actors living in Chicago. It was like a Seinfeld or It's Always Sunny. And we created a pilot. You will never see it. It is actually really well shot because my cinematographer friend Michael Hode shot it, and he's worked with some really cool people. But it is not good. It's also borderline very offensive in its jokes. But it exists somewhere. It's been taken off the internet. I have not seen it in maybe 7 years. But
Release it.
I don't know where it is. I don't have a copy of it. But I was in it. There was some funny jokes in there that worked. And there was a homeless man named Fresh Fred, played by this really interesting character I went to film school with. This guy was crazy. But he played this homeless guy named Fresh Fred who tries to entice me with a blowjob for money. And I say no, obviously. But that was the cold open of the episode.
Was that a soft no? It was like a no, but like you were intrigued and you're like,
Well, I
okay,
guess I'll pitch
maybe.
the scene. It starts off, I'm taking a piss on the side of this building, and there's this homeless man, completely drunk, singing Midnight Rider by the Allman Brothers. And he's like coming up and stuff. And he's like, he needs money, and he's like pitching me. And then I say no. And then there's this line that everybody started making fun of after, where he goes, everybody wants a piece of Fresh Fred. And that started the episode, and the credits came in. It's like 15, 20 minutes long. So it was something that we were actually like, oh, this could be a show. It was shot pretty much in Millennial Park, in one of my friend's apartments, and then some random classmate's apartment. This girl that just like didn't even know us. And we were just like, hey, we want to shoot this thing. We need this other apartment. Can we use yours? And she was cool with it. And that'll never be released though. I have no idea if anybody even has a copy. My friend Desmond claims he does. I've never seen it. Maybe it'll be released. Maybe I'll put it on the Flopbuster page so people can see a piece of my abysmal acting that I did.
You should.
It's really well shot. Like it looks like a show because we use really really good gear from the school. So okay. I'm gonna get into the big dog because one, I think these releases were really good. Carlos, man, how do you know these lines? I don't even remember these. I got to see this. Maybe he has a copy of this and I don't know of it.
If you have a copy, Carlos, send it to us.
That's what I'm saying,
we'll
right? Like
it.
I don't even remember that line. Oh, you know what? I do. Okay, so the 4Ks of Halloween, a lot of people own these except Gabe. Unless I can convince him to own them.
No.
Which maybe I can.
No.
And I'll start off with the first movie because I feel like everybody's got the same story with this one. Oh, I saw it when I was a kid and it scared me, this and that. When I saw this, I was like maybe 4 or 5. And I didn't see it all the way through. Because what frightened me was I walked in and my older siblings and cousins were watching this, and my grandmother. And it's the chase sequence when Laurie is going to the Doyle house and she's just discovered the bodies. And what scared the shit out of me was just the image of this guy in this pale mask walking down the street, because the house that we lived in was the middle of, it's a suburb in Illinois. And that's what this movie really is. And it really goes to that fear that somebody very random can walk up to your house and walk in and kill you. And that shit gave me nightmares for forever. And it took me a long time to really completely watch the movie. So I never got scared of stuff like Chucky or The Exorcist, but something that felt real, like this dude that can fucking walk into my house and murder me, or hide in my closet, that scared me. That scared the shit out of me. So this is a movie that I think would definitely be one of my favorite horror movies probably ever. I know it's Victoria's favorite. Uh, you can't really say much about it. Everybody said everything there is to say about this movie. Something I will say is this is probably the best version. And there's multiple 4K copies of this from like Anchor Bay and Lionsgate. Those are not very good. We have one on the shelf. You can see it back there. It's signed by Nick Castle. It's got a sick cover. It's Myers with the fall leaves, and Laurie is on the back. It's like a painted image. The transfer's bad. It looks green. Like everything looks like they put an Instagram filter over the movie, and it does not look good. And when I had seen the movie on the re-release, it looked the same. They were using the same transfer, the shitty green Instagram filter bullshit. This looks like the movie. It is again Dean Cundy, who is the cinematographer of the first three, oversaw the scans of all these and made sure they looked exactly how they should look. So
Right.
this is probably the best release of the movie. And then the second one, it's the same situation. I saw it around the same time. I still like the movie. I know it's a basic slasher. It's like a guilty pleasure, right? Like I know it's bad for me. And then four is one that I always saw on TV. Like I don't have the like biggest affection for it like most do, but I think it's a fun movie. I think The Mask is fucking
Is it?
horrible.
I haven't seen 4, 5, and 6.
You've never seen 4 or 5? This is fun, and I think this is one of the best of the 4Ks. It looks amazing, and talk about. I'm gonna take it that you genuinely haven't seen these, but the opening of this is like all these fall images. It's not the traditional jack o' lantern with the theme music, and they look incredible on 4K disc. Like honestly, Scream Factory knocks it out of the park with 4K.
I am not trolling you here. I legit have not seen 4, 5, and 6. And I know they're Connor's deepest love. Um, but I have no interest in seeing them. For people saying about the Thorn trilogy, to him fucking his niece, like the Bad Mask, like I feel like
Right.
I'm not gonna have any fun with them. The first Halloween movie I ever saw in theaters was H2O, and I was like, oh my god, I thought that was good. I thought H2O
Listen,
was
I
good.
don't care what anybody says. I like the new reboots. I really do. I know you enjoy them as well. I like them because I think they're really well made. I think they're really well made and they have a vision. Maybe I don't agree with a lot of the choices, but that 2018 is a really good movie.
Which
But
I gotta
H2O,
watch. Are you watching real quick? Are we watching? You watching 2018 and Kills Before Ends on Thursday?
I think so. We're gonna try. We're leaving early Thursday. We have our tickets at Burbank, AMC Burbank, which is a theater I really like. I've been to it before. We got that for the 8 o'clock showing. We're gonna try to watch 2018 tonight. Victoria wants to, and then Kills tomorrow. But I just wanted to piggyback, man. I love H2O. You
Yeah, I
know,
thought it
it's
was
so
good.
90s. I really like
Josh Hartnett.
dude, I love Dimension era 90s slasher movies. Urban Legend was fun. I like I Know You Did Last Summer, which again, I'm screaming about 4K. I shit you not, nobody's been buying I Know What You Did Last Summer. It looks incredible on 4K, like beyond incredible. We watched it the other night and we were just like, God damn, it's not Scream Factory or any of these releases. It's just a regular old Sony 4K release and it looks insane. But man, I'm with you on H2O. It's another one where I saw it around the same time. I grew up with it. I remember my sister getting it we bought it from Blockbuster on VHS.
Right.
And I enjoy it. It's 80 minutes long. I think if people had seen the John Carpenter style in it, maybe they'd go easier. But I
That
just
was
think
the
it's a
times where Josh Hartnett was just like the heartthrob, like the
LL Cool
it
J.
guy.
Jamie Lee was really good in that movie. And I think the whole cast, Michelle Williams,
Michelle
I forget
Williams.
her name, the actress that was in She's All That. She's in this. What is her name? But Joseph Gordon-Levitt at the beginning. Like I like all these things, man. I really do.
Right.
But if I were you, I would try to knock four off the list. I would five, even if you don't pick them up, 4, 5, and 6. I rewatched 6, and I don't really like it. But I watched 6 a couple of nights ago. I didn't have the worst time with it. I thought it was kind of fun. I think watching these movies in like better quality kind of enhances everything a little bit. But I watched the theatrical cut and I had fun.
You guys are just trying to turn me into a Halloween fan. Is all.
No, man, like honestly, like as big as I am a fan of that first movie, and it's like even in some of the short films and things I've made, it's definitely an inspiration for sure. But I'm pretty like level headed
Could
about
you take a drink of water already? Jesus
I'll take a
Christ.
drink of beer. Oh, is that the product placement? I feel like the weeks on end, this month and last month, my allergies have just been kicking my ass. So when I come on the show and I'm just talking very quickly, it's just like nothing. It's nothing there. But let's see
Feels
what I
like
have
I'm
left
worrying. Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
here. This is
Nothing at
one
all.
I should have mentioned at the top of the show. I already watch this every year. I usually try to wait until Halloween because I haven't watched the show. I think I saw the first couple episodes, maybe two, but I love Creepshow, and I think Creepshow is very good. Great George Romero. Stephen King's doing like this uh, Jim Carrey impersonation, like before Jim Carrey existed, like this really like slapstick,
Right.
goofy sort of thing. The effects are great. The cast is insane. Ted Danson, Leslie Nielsen. Uh, Creepshows. I feel like you gotta at least watch it once a year around October. You got to.
Creep Show or Tales of the Crypt?
Demon Knight. Are we talking about Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight? Because I love that one.
We're
I
talking
really do.
Tales of the Crypt HBO series.
I've only seen a handful of episodes, man. The actual show, I saw the Joe Pesci episode, which I thought was a lot of fun. I saw an episode that was directed by Arnold Schwarzenegger, which I was like, why is his name on this? That I've only seen a handful of episodes. That's one I want to do a complete like deep dive and watch every single one.
Like I remember watching Bordello of Blood, and I was just like, that was a little like sexy horror right
It
there.
is. It is.
You know.
And there's Tales from the Dark Side as well, which I know some people are a fan of. I don't
Yes.
think I've seen Tales from the Dark Side.
I haven't seen Tales from the Dark Side, but I do know that as a kid growing up, when I would be watching HBO After Dark, we're talking about like Real Sex 25, Real Sex 10, whatever the case may be, because I was a privileged child that had cable in his room as a child. Anyways, once Real Sex ended, you would hear like that creepy the crypt keeper laugh. I would have to turn off the TV. I was like, all
You're
right, well,
scared,
it's
huh?
time to get it. I was scared. I was just scared of the laugh itself. I don't think I watched an episode. I just would turn it on because I was scared of the crypt keeper laugh.
Talk about an iconic theme song, though, right? Like you can hear it in your head, and you know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this is probably my last one because I'm gonna start wrapping up here. We've gone on for 83 minutes. This is one of the. This is like an obvious one. Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein.
Oh, yeah,
It's
it's so
essentially.
obvious. Abbott and Costello.
Uh,
Nonchalantly, just drop in an Abbott and Costello.
this is not for Gabe because he doesn't watch movies before 1980. But for most Americans, it's Abbott and Costello. Most
Most
red-blooded Americans,
Americans that are
not
like
Gabe.
60 years old and older.
The
Abbott and
real,
Costello.
the real Americans.
The real
Um,
Americans, 60 and over.
But no, this is a really fun movie. If you like the Three Stooges and Laurel and Hardy, Abbott and Costello are very much like that kind of act, and I've enjoyed their other movies too, but I always go back to Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. Again, it's one Saturday morning cartoon. It's very goofy and slapstick, and what's awesome is they get the actual guys like Lon Chaney and Bela Lugosi in here to do these roles. So that's what makes this movie rule. It's getting the actual actors that are iconic to play this. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I showed Victoria it for the first time last year. Try to go to. No, she watched the whole thing.
I'm just kidding.
Because we're not like you. But yeah, that'll probably be my last pick, man. Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. And I don't know. I mean, there's TV specials that I watch. I mean, you mentioned Halloween Town. That's one
Halloween Town
was on TV every year, like every day.
Right. I watch here and there Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Sabrina.
Episodes of Sabrina.
There was Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire. That was a big one. There's a movie called Under Wraps. There's one in Disney that's not the one that I'm thinking of. That's new. That's like this year. But they don't have the original on there. It was from 1998, maybe. It's called Under Wraps. They played it every year on Disney Channel. It was about these kids that find this mummy. It had really cool practical effects. You can't find it. Maybe you could watch it on YouTube, but that was one I saw every year. Uh, the Garfield Halloween special, and then obviously Treehouse of Horror.
I was about to say you can't forget about the Simpsons
Yeah,
Treehouse of
yeah.
Horrors.
I feel like that's the big one, right? It's the one that
That's a big one.
for a lot of people, like for me, I looked forward to it. I think I watched all the way up to
What's your best? Real quick, I know I don't want to keep you hostage.
right.
Which episode of Treehouse of Horrors
Okay.
was your favorite one?
So I would say season 8 is a big one, and then season 2 and 3. Season 2 being, it's the very first.
Okay, I don't know seasons and fucking episodes. So
Okay.
I would say for me is when they did covered Edgar Allan's Poe.
That's the first one. Yeah, that's the first one.
Okay, I love the Raven. I quote said the Raven Nevermore, and I fucking love Bart as the Raven. I love that.
Right. That one's great. I saw one. There was a recent one because I saw all the way up to maybe religiously watch them up until season 22. But I was on Disney Plus and I was scrolling. I'm like, let me catch up on some of the Treehouse of Horror I haven't seen because I don't want to watch all like 200 episodes of The Simpsons I've missed. Because I'm not gonna lie, I stopped watching, around season 22 maybe. Right. And for a lot of people I know, they stopped watching around season 10.
Real quick, Jojo says he has a copy of Under Wraps that he bought from someone online years ago.
Really? OG Under Wraps and Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire. Yeah, man. I have a copy of Under Wraps that damn. Yeah, I don't know if I didn't know if anybody remembered this one, but
also I really love the Kudos and Kane stuff when Kudos and Kane come in. I think it was when they were running for president. Both of them like, who else are you gonna choose? You gotta vote for one of us.
Even the Krusty doll when Homer gets Bart the Krusty doll,
right,
starts attacking. There's a ton of stuff that are Bart's twin brother that's in the attic.
The clown bed.
Yes. But yeah, that's always a big one. I can't think of what did really cool. I would always watch the reruns. Was obviously she's canceled now. Roseanne, they would do on the show. They would rerun the Halloween specials of Roseanne and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I thought those two shows did a really good job at Halloween episodes. Fresh Prince and that one, they would always reference pop culture and have cool costumes. There's one where Will and the family they like do a seance. Have you seen that episode? Do you remember that one?
No.
That one's really good. Yeah, that one's really good. Those two shows did great Halloween episodes, I would say. But I got nothing else, man. I covered everything. I mean, that's really it.
We covered everything that we like for spooky seasons. Obviously, we go to pumpkin patches, haunted houses.
I do get Starbucks. I like Starbucks. I think Dunkin' Donuts does the seasonal stuff too, but Dunkin' Donuts, I feel like if you find the wrong location, their coffee tastes like shit.
I don't know. I don't drink coffee.
You don't drink coffee. So there's this weird for anybody that drinks coffee. And I'll try like every place. There's a ton of places in Arizona. There's a ton of cafes here. Dunkin', sometimes you find one and it tastes really good, and then sometimes you find one it's just like, oh, it's like this bitter aftertaste, or it feels weird in your stomach. So Starbucks is always my go-to. They do the apple crisp macchiato. It's great. The pumpkin spice latte is the obvious one. It's obviously good. But I mean, Edwards, which is by you, has the best apple cider donuts. So I always get them every year.
So I don't drink coffee. So I would say that I would agree. Starbucks does have great pumpkin, like great non-coffee drinks. And see, estoy loco. I'm crazy. I know. But see, my caffeine addiction is covered by my cherry Pepsi addiction, which is I drink about 4 of these a day. And they have about, 63 milligrams of caffeine in 20-ounce bottle. Anyways, Starbucks has a great non-coffee drink. So like the other day I went and I got a pumpkin spice frappuccino. And they're like, do you want that to be coffee-based or cream-based? I was like, give me that cream-based. I do that stuff.
No, they're good. They're really good. I like Starbucks. I know they get a lot of flack. Do you like the fog this time of year? I do like the fog. It's not one that I revisit often in John Carpenter's filmography, but I have it on the shelf. I don't think Victoria's seen it. I got to see if she's seen it. Maybe we'll watch
I've
it.
never seen The Fog, but I do have a Blu-ray copy called Scream Queens of The Fog and The Howling combo.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good combo pack. Scream Factory would put that out. I think it was like a store exclusive for like Walmart and stuff.
It was because I picked it
Yeah,
up at Walmart Blu-ray bin for like $5.
that's a steal because those are both really good. But the Fog, I do enjoy the Fog. I don't think again, it's
I
not one of
used
my
to get
favorite.
The Fog and The Mist confused for some reason.
One of them, a man is forced to kill his children or his
I
child.
know.
It's fucked up. It's really
It's
fucked
fucked
up.
up.
Um,
Somebody said I should watch that in black and white since I got that DVD copy. So I'm gonna try to see The Mist this year in black and white.
do it. All right, Gabe, you got anything else to add, man? I'm just about done.
No, just tomorrow. We're actually gonna have a live show again tomorrow to cover the movie news because Tony's gonna be watching. He's gonna be in Los Angeles on Thursday, and I'll be watching the Chicago Bears versus the Commanders on Thursday Night Football. Just kidding. I'm actually gonna go see Halloween. Unfortunately, it was either the Bears or Halloween, and for some reason I picked Halloween. I don't know what that says about my Bears when I'm picking
And
movies.
we'll talk more about Halloween tomorrow. I know I put it in the show notes, so I know there's no link or anything up. It is going to be up. There'll be a link up in the morning with a thumbnail and stuff. It just this week has been a little different. Everybody's been busy. I know Gabe's been busy. Victoria's been busy. I've been off doing things. So we're having a show tomorrow. We have the show notes. We know what we're going to talk about, like the Marvel news that just dropped with the dates switching up. Barbarella with Sydney Sweeney, things like that. I know there's a Red Sonja movie. So we have stuff to talk about. There's gonna be some cool things. That Megan trailer with the fucking, I don't know what that chick was. The little robot thing. I don't know what they were doing. The little dance thing. But we got some stuff to talk about, and we'll talk a little bit about Halloween Ends. So stick
Yes,
around for tomorrow if you want to
tomorrow.
talk Halloween Ends, our predictions, and I'm sure there's gonna be some reactions out tonight. I know it premiered, and there's a festival screening. So who knows? We'll talk about the movie. There's nothing else. I know today was supposed to be a guest. It didn't happen. We tried. There's the people we had in mind were busy, but we'll get them on for a later episode. And we always had this date blank. We just forgot to schedule it. I think we figured that we were just going to talk about our favorite movies anyway at some point, so we just filled this in. Uh, but thank you guys.
Thank you guys for
Ernie,
watching and
have a
appreciate it.
great night, man.
Have a good
Uh,
night.
I appreciate everybody that's been watching every week and got us to 500. I want to stress that just the 500 mark has been so awesome. And I'm not going to lie, like, we couldn't have done it alone. We don't do
No,
any of this alone. I don't do this alone. Even when I put up videos and you guys see a ton of them, I don't do those things alone. Victoria helps with the thumbnails and making the posts. Gabe is constantly watching things and giving me stuff to upload. And we do the shows together, the show notes, all those things. But I mean, we could do all those things. It doesn't matter if nobody's watching. And we get a core group of people that come and watch every week. And I can't thank you enough for doing that. From sharing the show, or if you're a YouTuber that shares us and shouts us out, whatever it is, man, we're really thankful because doing this kind of thing, again, you can't do it alone. It takes a army of people to make it happen. So
it
on to,
takes a village.
it takes a village, the village people. Uh, on to 600, maybe 1,000. We'll see. We want to do Patreon. We're not sure yet. We're thinking about it. We're
We are.
discussing it.
We're discussing and we're working on some things to give you guys as a, you know, thank yous or whatever you call it, whatever.
There's a lot of things being discussed. We want to take it to the next level, and there's some festivals we want to go to, so we could cover movies. The big thing right now is we want to get into the press passes, and I've been emailing publicists. I haven't heard anything back. We really want to deliver reviews as early as possible. That way, we get you our thoughts, not just the movie news, but actually covering those things too, in a deeper level. So I want to thank everybody that jumped in today. We had some great questions and comments and things that you shared with us. Gabe, is there anything else you want to say?
No, just again, thank you guys for, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
We'll see you guys tomorrow night for the movie news. Enjoy Halloween Ends. If we don't, we'll see you on the other side, and we'll talk about whatever the hell that's going to be. Maybe we'll do a spoiler show. Who knows? We'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.